Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel. I hope you are well. I hope you've had a good day, one day away from the weekend now. Lots to get into today. If you're new, please do subscribe to the channel. The target is 2,300 subscribers at this stage. We are en route. Good to see you in the chat. Sportcat, good to see you. How you doing? Ram, good to see you as well. Rebecca, good to see you. Still confused why Chelsea have not announced Poch. Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one that they've not announced Pochettino yet. That is a bit of a weird one. Jake Matterford, Magnus, Dominic, good to see you as well. Edward, hello Rory, have you ever met Mark Goldbridge? I've not. I've never met Mark Goldbridge. Mark, if you ever see this, I would like to grab a pint. David, good to see you as well. And Nketiah and Lukonga and 60 million for Rice is a shout. Yeah. Look, I don't mind throwing players into the Declan Rice deal if we need to. I don't mind it at all. Ross, good to see you. Yesterday's double bubble winner of Guess the Gooner yesterday. Can he keep it up today? We shall see later in the show. Thoughts on Cancelo rumours? We're going to get into the Cancelo rumours. I think they are nonsense. But look, the big thing is this idea of stage 4 spending. What is stage 4 spending? What does it mean? Why can it happen? We're going to talk about that quite a lot. We've got a Fabrizio tap-in regards to Saka's contract announcement. We've got quite a few odds and sods, and that's where the Cancelo thing fits in. A few rumours that they're a bit waffly and aren't that reliable. And of course, we will have Guess the Gooner. West Ham in need of a striker too? Yeah, exactly. I genuinely do think Nketiah going the other way in that deal could be quite good for them. I mean, same with Sambi Lukonga, to be fair. Great news about Arsenal ladies and the Emirates. Yeah, massive. Five WSL games at the Emirates next season. Tickets are already selling out like really, really well as well. Exchange deals very rarely happen. They are complicated, but they can happen. Would you take Thuram? I think he's quite similar to Camavinga. Yeah, I mean, he's not on the same level as Camavinga. I would take him if the price was right. I mean, I've not seen a lot of him. I will be honest. I've not seen a lot of Thuram. If you're watching on TikTok, I appreciate you all. But if you could head over to the YouTube channel, link in my bio, drop a subscription. It would be greatly appreciated. But look, what is this stage 4 spending? What does it mean? Where's it coming from? So it's coming from Twitter. It's come from a guy called Elliot Richardson, who is the vice chairman of OneFootball. If you've ever seen the app OneFootball, he is the vice chairman of it. And he was active on Twitter today within a thread. It was a weird thread. It started from Piers Morgan's son, talking about 300k a week for Bukayo Saka being a lot of money. And within that thread, this guy, Elliot Richardson, was talking about basically the fact that a lot of that 300k will come from image rights. And that is something that Arsenal don't currently do with any of our players. We don't negotiate image rights. But generally, with big star players now, they are a significant factor within any contract. For example, Erling Haaland. And it sounds like moving into stage 4, Arsenal are expected to start using those image rights to basically offer more money to the player and get better contracts for them, which is more likely to entice them into a deal. So basically what this guy said was, within that thread, he said, I think it's a part of the deal but tracked separately. So talking about the image rights versus the actual salary they get paid. He said, get a feeling image rights going to be a big boost for Arsenal in keeping/attracting players. This is new for the club. And it's unusual that Arsenal don't really negotiate image rights. All of the other big clubs do. Dan, we're talking about basically stage 4 spending and what stage 4 spending means for the club. Obviously, Arteta's always said we have this 5-phase process. We're moving into stage 4 and our spending is going to move with it. And part of that is image rights. And then in a separate part of the thread, someone said we can expect to see a big summer then. Raicedo's still on the cards. And this guy replied with huge stage 4. So confirming that this stage 4 thing could be a thing. Super Mick Arteta, I must have blocked you before and you've been blocked again. So good to see you. Goodbye. Jordan says, I just want to get Rice. After that, I'm sweet as a nut. Same. I really do want to. I do want to get Declan Rice. I really do. And Ross says, did you see the Callum Wilson comments? Yeah, I saw the Callum Wilson comments about. Assuming you're talking about the ones to do with XHAKA and staying down and him being from the streets. What did he say? I grew up on the streets, so I won't accept that or something. As if Granit Xhaka didn't grow up in war-torn Kosovo. Like, yeah, a bit of self-awareness wouldn't do Callum Wilson any harm. Bro, what is he on? Yeah, the mean streets of Coventry. Exactly. Listen, the worst thing you experienced growing up in Coventry was the Rico Arena potentially being sold. Did you see Morgan Gibbs White's interview? I didn't see Morgan Gibbs White's interview. No. So look, what are image rights? First of all, let's get out the way what are image rights. So basically, if you're a player, the club that you play for will sell the rights to your image. What does your image mean? It's everything to do with who you are. So if you're Bukayo Saka, it's your name, it's your face, it's your nickname, it's anything to do with you that the club can sell to a brand to make money. And basically, by incorporating a portion of that money generated from your image into a contract is massively beneficial for you. If you're the player, it can make a massive extra amount of money for you. And the deals that some image rights deals, like if you ever look into it, some of the image rights deals are crazy. Like at one point, like Bale was still getting paid from Tottenham about 8 years after he left the club because of image rights that they were still using. Like some of the deals that they make are absolutely nuts. And basically, Arsenal have always steered clear of it, whilst other clubs do offer big image rights deals, and now we're going to go with it. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. As Elliot Richardson says, it will make it easier to attract and keep players that we have. So it's really good. I meant the comments from Wilson saying the title was gone, so he didn't get why Arsenal played such negative tactics in the Newcastle Arsenal game. To be honest, I just think Callum Wilson's rattled. I think the whole Newcastle team got absolutely rattled that game, and whatever he's waffling on about, I'll leave him to it. Will Saliba sign a new deal? Well, this plays into the Fabrizio tap-in, so whilst you've mentioned it, I may as well give it. Fabrizio this morning saying Arsenal will complete and announce soon the contract extension for Aaron Ramsdale. New deal agreed with an improved salary. Ramsdale has accepted the proposal. Announcement expected soon also for Saka. New deal until 2028. And talks are still ongoing with William Saliba. So all things that we already knew, but once Fabrizio gives it, it is the tap-in. It means that it's definitely going to happen. When do you think Saka's contract will be announced? I think it'll be before the end of the season. I do think it'll be before the end of the season. Bless them. They're not used to losing since the takeover. True. And the amount of on Twitter, the amount of Newcastle fans I've had in my replies and stuff twerking for Man City. It's a bit embarrassing. They've become, they're like oil buddies all of a sudden. AC Milan slowly turning into a hospital. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the game last night. I mean, what not a weird game, but flipping winning 2-0 with Dzeko and Henrik Mkhitaryan scoring the 2 goals. Crazy. Only 2 likes sorted out, people. Yeah, if you are watching the YouTube stream, please do drop a like. It does help me. Kind of off topic, but is there an estimate return date for Saliba? To be honest, the estimate return date for Saliba now is the start of next season. He's not going to play this season again. That's for sure. But look, back to the stage for spending and what it means. Ultimately, at this point, Arsenal have to go big. And I don't think people not that people don't realise, but Arsenal haven't been in a position under the Cronkies, not having the massive debt of the Emirates over our heads with the Cronkies as full owners. We've never been in that position. We've not been in the position of being able to spend big money. As much as we've complained in the past that the Cronkies haven't spent enough, Like, there's no excuse for them now. And I genuinely do think we're going to see a massive summer for Arsenal. And if we are to kick into stage 4, presumably Arteta has made it clear that he needs the spending and he needs the backing to do it. So I do think it's going to be a massive summer for us. Any new transfer news for us? No, there's nothing really new today. There's a couple of extra updates on things that we've already spoken about. I feel City's window is peaking a bit and Arsenal's is just opening. Yeah, look. The thing is, Man City are, I think they could do the treble this season. At the end of it, there will be a little bit of a turnaround in terms of a little bit of a rebuild in the midfield and stuff. They are in a position where they can just keep spending, and so they don't have to do rebuilds like other teams do. But there is a possibility over the next couple of years that we can really hit our peak and win things. That's the hope. George, I'm good, thank you. I hope you are too. So into the odds and sods, other sort of smaller things that we've heard today. Simon Collins saying that Arsenal are expected to face competition from PSG if they move for winger Moussa Diaby this summer. The Gunners' interest in Bayer Leverkusen winger dates back to January. Summer represents the best time for the club to sell. Granit Xhaka plus cash. How much cash that would be, I don't know. I wouldn't want it to be a lot. If we were giving them, Rory, you need that fibre optic, Maggie. I know. Supposedly, the 24th of May, is when this fucking internet's going to get sorted. I pray. I do apologise if the quality drops in and out whilst you're watching. We should bring Gnabry back for the depth. I don't know if Gnabry's at the level that we need right now. I genuinely don't. Barcelona in pre-season. Putting that date in my calendar. Yeah, well, the date's in my calendar, I can assure you of that. But yeah, look, with Diaby, if we're giving them Xhaka plus 35, 40 million, anything more than that, I don't think it's a good deal. The other thing was about João Cancelo. A couple of people have mentioned that today already. This is coming from Graham Bailey. Again, he's not a great source in the first place. But it's that João Cancelo is unlikely to be reintegrated into the Man City team next season. Arsenal are keen on Cancelo. Mikel Arteta briefly worked with him during their respective times at Man City, and the Spaniard believes he could slot nicely into the Gunners' current tactical setup. Now, that story writes itself. If you're a journalist in the football space, that is a story that writes itself. It doesn't need to have any actual tangible truth to it, because you go, well, Arsenal under Arteta like going for ex-Man City players, and if Cancelo played there and he can play the Zinchenko role, it writes itself. Maybe it happens, but I do not think it's likely, truthfully. I don't see Man City risking selling us another player like that. Look, maybe it happens and I get proven wrong, but as it is, I just think it's a journalist that's writing an easy to write article. Don't see how Cancelo would suit Arsenal IMO, as I wouldn't put above it Zinchenko and White, and he won't want to be a backup. Yeah, that's true. His whole issue at Man City was being a backup in the first place. So the reason he fell out with Pep was that he wasn't starting. And you're right. It would be close between him and Zinchenko. And they both have the same frailty in a way in terms of their defensive ability. Give it 3, 4, 5 years and Newcastle will be winning the Prem if they carry on this way. It might take a bit longer than that, I think, because unlike Man City have never had to deal with another Man City, whereas Newcastle will have to deal with Man City. Thoughts on signing Theo Hernandez? Again, I don't know if it's the right option, because does he really want to leave AC Milan to become a bench player? And if you think he's going to start, are you ready to just drop Zinchenko? I don't know. Who's defensively worse, Trent or Zinni? I think Trent is marginally worse defensively than Zinni. Zinni's made a few mistakes more recently that have been more prominent mistakes, and people are getting on his back about it. I don't think he's as bad as Trent. What's your opinion on the new Arsenal kit? Do you know what? That horrendous, bright, fluorescent, yellowy green kit is actually growing on me a little bit, and I don't know why. I don't know why it is, but it is growing on me. I would love Tony. He gives the direct threat that we're lacking with Jesus. Yeah, I really want Ivan Tony. I know there's all the gambling stuff hanging over his head and the potential ban, but I want him. I want us to take a risk on it. And then the only other odds and sods thing. This annoyed me, right? So this journalist, Lorenzo Lepore, had been talking about how he had a big exclusive interview with Moises Caicedo's agent. And we're like, oh, what's going to come from this interview? Nothing, basically. The main thing he had from it, Moises Caicedo's agent tells me exclusively, Arsenal is a great team for everyone. Let's see what happens in the summer. There are many clubs keen on Moises Caicedo. What is that for an exclusive? Arsenal is a great team for everyone. Brilliant. Let's see what happens in the summer. There are many clubs keen on Moises Caicedo. Wow. What an exclusive that is. I mean, it's basically his agent's gone on there just to twerk that Caicedo is available and wants a bidding war, clearly. And Arsenal's a great club. Well, cheers, Jeff. Brilliant. I mean, that was the worst exclusive I think I've ever seen. Absolutely. Fabrizio 2.0. Well, yeah. No, I quite like Fabrizio. At least with Fabrizio, though, you know when Fabrizio says something that like 95% is going to happen or it has happened. Any Rice update? No, there's nothing really on Declan Rice today. No update from where we have been previously. What do you think of Adeyemi? I've not watched a huge amount of him. Obviously, he's absolutely rapid. But the thing is, like, across our front line, I don't think extreme pace is necessarily what we even need at the moment, especially with a central player. I really do think we need something more like Ivan Toney, or even, I mean, I'm happy with Gabriel Jesus. I really am. Stevie Wonder could have seen that. Yeah, exactly. Opinion on Mount. Mason Mount wouldn't be a bad option. I genuinely believe that Mason Mount wouldn't be a bad option if you could get him at a decent discount because Chelsea are trying to sell. He's a versatile player. His numbers were decent last year. Yes, he's had an off season this season, but he's not played that much. And Chelsea have just been shocking anyway. I don't think he's a bad option, but I don't think we need to do it unless we get rid of Smith Rowe. And if Arteta is trying to mold Smith Rowe into that sort of 8 role, and we know that Smith Rowe can play a more attacking role anyway, Mount is just another Smith Rowe in my opinion. So I don't think you need both. Why have you blocked me on Twitter? You must have said something that deserved a blocking. Frankly, I don't block many people, so you're in quite a small group of people that have been blocked. So you must have said something. You versus Theo in an arm wrestle. I'd never do an arm wrestle. I'd never do even before the whole Tom thing. If I'd been there on the day that Tom broke his arm and had been asked to do an arm wrestle, I'd have said no. The amount of broken arms I've seen from arm wrestles, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I'm not exactly built for it either. So, like best case scenario, I lose in a slightly embarrassing manner. Worst case scenario, Tom. So, no arm wrestles for me. No arm wrestles for me. Tom was shook. Well, I think I'd be shook if my arm started hanging off. Would you take Mahrez going into the last year of his contract? Would I take Mahrez? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would take Mahrez. Very, very underrated player in a way. Let's say Tony gets banned, Tammy Abraham, or not an ex-Chelsea player. Tammy Abraham's not fallen off, but he's gone off the boil a bit this season. Even if Ivan Toney gets a ban, I'd still bring him in. If Tony's banned for 6 months, you treat it as if a player's been injured for 6 months. Except actually, it's not as bad as an injury because they can keep fit during that 6 months. They can keep training and they just come back at the end of that 6 months. I genuinely think it's worth it. Rasmus Højlund is my dream striker. Yeah, Rasmus Højlund is definitely someone I'd be interested in. I've not really seen Arsenal linked with him much at all. Certainly not since that we were slightly linked to him after that international break, but we've not really been linked to him since. Would you buy a new backup keeper? If so, who? No, I don't think so. Long term, I genuinely think we can bring Karl Hein through. Is he 20, 21-year-old Estonian keeper? That's our third choice keeper currently. I genuinely think long term we can actually bring him through. He's got decent assets and he can save penalties. So you can always bring him along for bring him off penalties. Were you alive when Arsenal last won the title? I was indeed. I was, how old would I have been? 8. 8 years old the last time Arsenal won a title. Kyle Hines should be on the bench in all knockout games. Yeah, literally, just to bring him on. Thoughts on Greenwood to Juventus, maybe? It wouldn't surprise me at all if Mason Greenwood went to Italy. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he went and tried to reignite his career in Italy. I don't think they care about the whole situation that he's had over here. It would make sense. If XHAKA does leave and we get Rice or Caicedo, we should sign Edson Alvarez for coverage. Wouldn't be bad. Caicedo over Rice, says Memphis Depay. Not for me. Declan Rice over Moises Caicedo for me, personally. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it, so you don't know if they're currently at Arsenal, if they started at Arsenal, etc. And you have to guess who the player is. An incredible amount of pride goes to the person that gets it correct in the YouTube chat first. Yesterday, Ross Lawman hit the double bubble. He got the Guess the Gooner and Guess the Non-Gooner right first time. So he is holding the badge of honor at the moment. But let's get into it. If you're in the TikTok chat and you want to join in, do head over to the YouTube channel. Link is in my bio. Drop a subscription whilst you're there. It would be wonderful. And let's get into it. So this player started at Sporting Lisbon. They went to Coimbra on loan. They then went to Southampton, Inter Milan on loan, and Fulham on loan. Sporting, Coimbra, Southampton, Inter Milan, Fulham. It is indeed, and there you go, FPL Ben is the winner. It is indeed Cedric Soares. FPL Ben is first. Jake Madaford is second. Logan is third. George Christodoulou fourth. Zach Boyle fifth. Ross Lawman down in seventh. He could not replicate yesterday's success. It was not Henrik Mkhitaryan. It was not Gabriel Paulista. It was indeed Cedric Soares, who, in an ideal world, and look, I don't hate him, but in an ideal world, we will never see him in again. If we see Cedric Soares in an Arsenal shirt again, something's gone wrong this summer. Because even though he's got a year left deal, I'd let him go for free. I'd let him go for free. You know what? When we're trying to buy Declan Rice, I wouldn't even throw him in as something of any value. I'd throw him in as a complimentary gift. Like when you walk into a hotel and they offer you like a wipe or a sweet when you arrive at the hotel. That would be my Cedric to West Ham appetizer as part of the Declan Rice deal. We don't need to sell him. He just doesn't need to be at the club. Mate, that geezer had an unbelievable first game and was awful ever since. Yeah, he scored a belter on his debut. And then, yeah. The thing is, I get PTSD from him. Like, it's not even his fault. But when I see Cedric play, I just get flashbacks to the old back four. I get flashbacks to a couple of seasons ago. And it's just, I can't help it. I just can't help it. Why spend 100 million on Rice or Caicedo when we have Maitland-Niles who can play the same position? Mainly based on the fact that Maitland-Niles absolutely cannot play the same position. I mean, it's like saying I can play that. That'd be like lining me up at centre back. Why bring in a new centre back this summer? Rory Talks Football can play at centre back just because I can. 70 viewers we peaked at then. Dominic, sharp, love it. If you are on the YouTube video, please do subscribe and like the video. Anyway, it's time. The Adidas logo. I explain this every time I wear this shirt, but I will explain it again. This particular shirt for Arsenal, the Adidas logo fell off for a lot of people. It just obviously was a design problem. So that's where the Adidas logo is. Anyway, on to Guess the Non-Gooner. Guess the Non-Gooner. It's not a tricky one. Well, it's kind of a tricky one, depending on how old you are. But this is Guess the Non-Gooner, a player that has never and will never play for Arsenal. Actually, I say will never. They could play for Arsenal at some point. But has never played for Arsenal, doesn't currently play for Arsenal. I give you their full career path, and if you get it correct, first, you get pride. Not as much pride as FPL Ben currently has for guessing the Gooner, but you get some nonetheless. This player started at Santos. They went to Real Madrid, Manchester City, Santos on loan, AC Milan permanently, Santos on loan, GZ Evergrande, Atletico MG, Sivasspor, Istanbul Başakşehir, and Santos again. I need to actually see if anyone got it. Jake Madaford was the first person to get it. Jake Madaford got it first. It was not Neymar or Danilo. It was indeed Robinho. It was Robinho. Jake Madaford was first. Cristiano Comps was second. FPL Ben was third. Ross Lawman fourth. And AJ came fifth. FPL Ben with a first and a third today. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. But yeah, Robinho. That was, and I was thinking about this when I made it today. Robinho was not the same, but a similar vibe to like Anthony Gordon in terms of just one of those ones that they spent money and it didn't work. I mean, Robinho was a far more marquee signing than Anthony Gordon, but they paid 43 million euros for him back in 2008. That was a lot of money back in 2008. People saying I said it first. You didn't. You said it first on your screen because when you type a message, your one immediately gets added to the message bar. But if other people have put it half a second before you, it hasn't gone through. The official winner is the person that gets it first on my screen. And on my screen, it was Jake Madaford. You were second though, Cristiano Comps. So don't worry about it. Must be the stream. It's the gap between. It's like an input delay between. Yeah, it makes sense. Can we do more rounds of Guess the Gooner? So the reason there are never more than one round of Guess the Gooner is that I'm limited, right? Guess the Gooner has to be someone that's played for Arsenal. If I'm going to do daily streams for as long as I plan to, which is like years and years and years, I'm going to run out of Guess the Gooners if I do more than one a day. I mean, even doing one a day, I'm still going to run out. But there you go. Saliba update. I guess it depends what Saliba update you want. If you want an update on his injury, there isn't really one. I don't think he's going to play this season. If you want one on his contract, the most recent one is from Fabrizio Romano today. And he just said talks are still ongoing with William Saliba. Just joined. What have I missed? You've missed most of the show. You've missed most of the show. You've missed Guess the Gooner. You've missed me talking about our stage 4 spending, our big spending. No worries, George. Enjoy the revision. What a stupid comment. You're not going to enjoy the revision, but, you know, I hope it goes well. When are you on FTV again? I don't know. We've only got one away game left this season. So yeah, I actually don't know. Guess the Gooner is going to be a halftime game at the Emirates soon. It should be. It should be. Camera quality not so good. Yeah, the camera quality drops when my internet drops, which is very regularly. But 24th of May, supposedly getting new internet. Heath Briggs says, fill me in. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. I don't. That's not my style. Who is the best and worst Arsenal-related pundit? Best and worst Arsenal-related pundit? I'd say the best one is Ian Wright. The best one is Ian Wright. The worst one, I find Alan Smith quite annoying. When have you been to AFTV? I was on AFTV for the Man City game and for the Liverpool game. I was on their watch-alongs. Who's your least favourite Arsenal player? This is coming from Emily in the TikTok chat. My least favourite Arsenal player, Cedric Suarez. He just, and it's not his fault. It's not Cedric's fault. He just causes PTSD. Can't lie, Rory. Guess the Gooner has been distracting me from my uni assignments, but well worth the pride. Look, ultimately, in the long run, if you can put on your CV, I don't know, 15, 20 times winner of Guess the Gooner, that will take you further in your career. It will. Cedric or Mustafi? Well, I was talking about players that are currently contracted to Arsenal. Yeah, Mustafi is worse than Cedric. My favourite Arsenal player currently, I actually don't have one. I genuinely can't pick one from the current team. Of all time, it's Thierry Henry, which I know is cliche, but it is the truth. Before I go, rank our starting 11 from best to worst this season. I'd have to put more time. I'd have to put more thought into that, George. That would have to be a winner by its own thing. Guess the Gooner times 2 winner is better than any degree. Absolutely. Absolutely. What have been your favourite matches to watch this season? I mean, Bournemouth was amazing. Like, I think Bournemouth was number one just because it was one of those games that it was like a run of the mill game. Like, I've been to every game at home this season, but that was one where you turn up and you're like, don't really have much expectation. I just thought it'd be quite an easy win, and it turned out to be like the most exciting game of the season. So, Bournemouth's definitely up there. Obviously, United at home was massive. Smashing up Spurs at home was really enjoyable. Liverpool at home was a massive one as well. So, Ray, you've just missed Guess the Gooner. We did Guess the Gooner about 5 minutes ago, unfortunately, Ray. If you want to scroll back and sort of play by yourself, you can feel free to do that. But that is going to be the end of the YouTube stream. Bit of a shorter one today because there just wasn't that much to talk about, and I don't want to waste your time. But look, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please do like and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner if you can. Massively helps me out. I'll be back live tomorrow. Tomorrow is actually going to be the Brighton preview because I can't do the preview on Saturday because I'm away. So tomorrow, 5 p.m. on here for the Brighton preview. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the Europa Conference League / Europa League football if you watch it. And I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.